Gun makers and dealers in our state will be required to block firearm sales to anyone who could use the gun to harm themselves or others. This is part of a gun measure that Governor Newsom signed into law yesterday. Basically, companies and dealers are required to stop a sale if there is a believed substantial risk. Now, this is a subjective requirement that goes further than current background checks. While Democrats support this, the National Rifle Association said the requirement is vague and designed to drive gun makers and dealers out of business.
I know we're all excited and we're happy because the Supreme Court just ruled against New York's gun permit law that basically says, nah, it's unconstitutional to require justifiable cause in order to give somebody a concealed carry permit to carry a gun. That's great. I love it. I'm just as happy as everybody else. But don't get it twisted. It's just starting. The real fight is actually just starting. And you want to know why? These states don't want you to have a gun. They don't care what the Supreme Court says. As far as they're concerned, that's just a barrier. So now what they're going to do is they're going to sidestep. They're going to create another law and sidestep, and then sidestep here, and then sidestep here. I just talked about not too long ago in California how Gavin Newsom came up with a law that basically said it's illegal for gun manufacturers to market to children. Why do you think he's doing that? Because he wants to create as many lawsuits as possible to destroy the gun manufacturers financially. Then on top of that, they passed another law that basically is saying, well, they're trying to pass another law that basically says if somebody uses your gun as a manufacturer in a crime, you can be held liable and sued civilly, not criminally, civilly. Again, they are attacking the financial ability of these gun manufacturers to conduct business with frivolous lawsuits. I talked about how there's already a federal law that makes it illegal for anybody to come up with a frivolous lawsuit and try to sue them. So now what they're doing is they're trying to come up with laws to get around it. And once again, we're back at it. Now this time, they're not only targeting the manufacturers, they're also attacking the dealers. So now what their plan is for the dealers aspect of it is hold them accountable for actions that they otherwise would not be held accountable for. So California, in that law that also talks about all those other laws that hold gun manufacturers responsible, there is one now that says California will require gun makers and dealers to block firearm sales to anyone they have reasonable cause to believe is at a substantial risk of using a gun illegally or harming themselves or others. So now, it's not just enough to have background checks, because when you buy a gun from a dealer, you get a background check. Now they want these dealers to be psychics. They want these dealers to look at somebody who is clearly passed a background check and doesn't have a criminal history and say, you know what? Something looks really shady about you, so therefore I'm not going to sell you a gun. I wonder what could go wrong. As far as I'm concerned, if I was a dealer and I was held under that standard, I'd damn near sell a gun to nobody, because at any point they can come back and say, well, you sold a gun to this person ended up doing this with the firearm, and now you're held civilly liable for what they did. And now you have gun dealers, not just manufacturers, but dealers that can be sued for the actions of somebody else simply because they sold a gun to somebody who actually passed a background check. They are trying to destroy the gun industry. I don't understand how people are not understanding this. That's what they are trying to do. Delaware has that same law. New Jersey has that same law. New York has that same law. California is now trying to have that same law. So what all of these anti-gun states are trying to do now is they're saying, look, if we can't beat them from a legal perspective, we'll beat them civilly. Literally, the lady who was one of the people who's responsible for trying to pass this particular law, she says, and I quote, hitting their bottom line may finally compel them to step up to reduce gun violence by preventing illegal sales and theft, said the bill's author, Democratic Assemblyman Phil Teen. They're literally telling you exactly what they're trying to do. They are trying to financially bankrupt the gun industry. That's their new plan now. Now that the Supreme Court has stated what they said, there's like, okay, we can't have these stupid laws. The Supreme Court said they're unconstitutional. Fine, we'll hit you where it hurts. Your money, your pocketbooks. Now, manufacturers is one thing, even though that's even a huge problem in and of itself. But think about it, your local gun store can be sued civilly for simply selling a firearm to somebody who passed a background check. You really think they have the money and the ability to fight that type of suit over and over and over and over again? No, they can't. They'll be out of business like that. And that is the goal. They are trying to eradicate the business of firearms in their states. And I promise you, more states that see this to work from the standpoint of eliminating guns, they'll jump on board too. And before you know it, the only place you'll be able to buy a gun is in Texas.
Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.